I'm resident of Collinwood for YouTube. Joel Sands. It's my buddy Gordon Dymowski. That's my buddy Patrick McCray. We're here to talk the Batman, which is currently it's the up to date Batman movie that until the next one comes out. So, so we get some villains in this. We get the Penguin, we get the Riddler, we get some mafia members, we get a mob boss. What did you guys think of the Penguin in this movie?
I mean, kind of forgettable next to the Joker. Honestly, I mean, it's kind of like you got your, this mob figure and so on. But I'm much more interested in this other guy.
Yeah. Gordon?
I'm trying to figure out why he was nicknamed the Penguin. Because he just he looks more like Al Capone than the Penguin.
I think he was a nun. I think that was it. He was a.
Oh, it was the nun's habit. Okay, I get it now. Yeah, never mind.
Well, we all have them now and then.
We also get Catwoman's origin story in this movie as well. What did you guys think of that?
Honestly, I've seen the movie now 2 or 3 times, and I don't remember what it was. I guess she was the daughter of Maroni or
Carmine Falcone.
Carmine Falcone. So she's John Turturro's daughter.
Yeah.
She should be able to afford a better mask.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying that is easily the dumbest, worst looking. Not that it's about that, but Lord have mercy.
Or enough yarn to do something that covers her mouth.
It's so simple. It's like she lost a bet with the other supervillains.
We get the Riddler in this movie for the main boss. What did you guys think?
It's we know it's a performance that you like a lot, and there's a good reason for that. It's extremely scary. I mean, I really liked that. But it was not a lot of fun. It wasn't exactly dreary, though. I mean, I think Paul Dano does a good job of taking a perverse glee in the part, which I think is important, but it's not as obvious as what we have seen before.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think, too, the Riddler is probably a little bit more... He's a different spin on that. Usually the Riddler is... If the Joker's the guy who believes that life is a joke and he's the only one in on it, and that's why it's funny, the Riddler uses humor as a way to outsmart his opponents. It's like, I'm going to throw you these riddles, and because I know you're not smart enough to catch them, so you won't be able to catch me. Yeah. And I think in this movie, I mean, they play up the more of the serial killer aspects of it. But I mean, this is a guy who thinks he's got it all figured out.
Yeah.
And it's when at the end, when you realize that this is a guy who, I mean, he and Batman are kind of drawn in this movie as kind of literally as peers.
Yeah.
Or they're, spoiler alert, people, they're both orphans, and except one gets a lot more attention, the other one gets neglected, to really put it in basic terms. And I think the Riddler kind of sees it as, well, everyone's looking at him, nobody's looking at me, but I've got it all figured out, and I'm going to get back at this system, and I'm going to be the edgelord of all edgelords.
Yeah.
I think that's where a lot of the kind of the villainy comes in, whereas the Joker is just I just want to see everything burn, and especially in the Dark Knight, where he's not pessimistic but nihilistic. The Riddler in this movie is a guy who thinks he's got it all figured out, because he now that he knows he can strike against the system and take down all the corruption. But he realizes soon that he's not the hero of his own story, and he's not even a hero.
Yeah.
Well, that's because he lived too long.
Mm-hmm.
See, he lived long enough to see himself become the villain, and Christopher Nolan was right after all.
Mm-hmm.
Not quite.
I have a question. Was Riddler always sort of based off of Zodiac a bit?
No. No, the Riddler was I mean, he never was a real serial killer type at all. And the Riddler was invented, like 20, 30 years before Zodiac was a thing.
Oh wow.
Yeah, Joel,
Yeah.
and if Frank Gorshin were still alive, he would rise from his grave, be grateful that he's no longer in his grave, and come down and just smack the tape. Just no. How dare you
The,
defile the name of Frank Gorshin by comparing the Riddler to the Zodiac Killer? Shame on
the
you.
the thing about Frank Gorshin, is that if he was a guest in your home, you really had to get him to sleep on his left side, because otherwise he'd leave all that black makeup on the pillow. Joel, do you have any idea what we're talking about with this one? He was a Star Trek actor, among other things, and he was in probably the most obvious political story that they did. And it's where from, I'm not making this up, the southern sector of the galaxy, which is a line in the show, they they have, they're black on one side and white on the other.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Oh, you have? Well, have you
Yeah.
seen that episode of Bewitched where Tabitha has her friend over who's black and they become polka dotted?
No, that I haven't seen.
Well, that's a good episode, Joel. I think it would work a lot of things to everyone's benefit. It gets racially aware.
Here's what I like about this movie. Again, I feel this movie, more so than any of the previous Batman installments. I mean, we get some detective stuff in the Nolan movie, but I feel this movie is much more of a detective story than the Burton.
Oh yeah.
It's also much more of a noir type of
Yeah.
story.
Yeah. I mean, for people who've been calling for Batman to be a detective, which is a popular reference about him. Although he doesn't spend much time, going after, married men and, following them to sleazy motels, and that's what most detectives do a lot of. But this is the most detective-y of all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I do hear about Batman the Detective, I imagine a conversation between him and James Gordon that goes something like this. So, Batman, I hear you call yourself the world's greatest detective. It's like, yeah. Well, I'm a detective. I, went to study all of this stuff, and I said, oh, that's cool. So, what part of remaining incognito in a crowd and blending in does the pointed ears and the cape do? Like, what environments are you in where that's the subtle outfit? And Batman says, it's funny you should mention that, and he has a whole story to justify it. That's his undercover outfit.
Yeah, he goes to Comic-Con dressed as Batman. There are 20,000 other Batman who detect him. There you go.
Yeah.
Jewel, if you could dress as Batman, which Batman would you dress as?
Do they have a fat version?
No. You're fit and vigorous, so let's take that off the table right now.
No.
Yes.
I'm not really big of a Batman. I'm not a Batman. I'm not a mark for Batman enough to dress up like him. So
Yeah.
I'm a mark enough for Michael Myers to dress up like him. I've done that.
Yeah, but there's
now, how do you feel about those Haystacks wrestlers? Not dressing up like them, but just as wrestlers. the Haystacks dynasty.
Are you talking about Haystack Calhoun?
Haystack Calhoun, and then there have been others to carry on in the Haystackian tradition.
Well, when you look at Haystack Calhoun, who was a very, very big man, and you look at Hillbilly Jim and the way they dressed similar. Now, Haystack Calhoun wore like this horseshoe thing around his neck or whatever it was.
Well, when
But
he visited on Christmas, he had ledger boxes and ledger books and money boxes and chains.
Well, since you bring up wrestling, do you know who Jason Hervey was?
He invented, there was a disease named after him.
From the Wonder Years, do you know who he was?
No, okay, I thought you were talking about the person who invented herpes.
No, he was from
No,
the
I know who Jason Hervey is. He was the obnoxious older brother.
Yeah. Hervey, you're talking about the guy who was on Wonder Years.
Yeah, Jewel just said, he was the guy on Wonder Years.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay, so what about him?
He was actually a producer for World Championship Wrestling under Eric Bischoff.
What did he have some innovations in the?
He helped Bischoff produce matches and produce matches and produce television, and he even helped on writing some matches to set up between two competitors. Like it's fucking weird. Him and Bischoff came up with this idea. Hey, let's go get Dennis Rodman.
Okay, what were they? I mean, just like, were they mad at him? What do you mean, get him?
No, they wanted him for a match. They wanted him.
I thought we needed to warn Dennis.
They wanted him to team up. Dennis Rodman did reach out to Hulk Hogan, but when they pitched the idea to Hulk Hogan was like, yeah, he reached out to me. And they're like, huh? They didn't know Rodman had reached out to Hulk.
I mean, he felt safe with Hulk.
Yeah.
Terry made everyone feel that way, and I think he needs to get more credit for that.
Yeah. So he was a part of World Championship Wrestling for a time under Eric Bischoff, which I found funny when I heard it on a podcast today. So
what did Eric Bischoff go on to do?
Eric Bischoff, well, after WCW got bought by WWF or WWE, whatever you want to call them, he went on to. Hulk Hogan actually got signed with TNA, but he wanted to bring Eric Bischoff in because he didn't trust anybody in TNA, and so Bischoff did that. He was a producer for TNA for a while, which actually the Spike executives liked Eric Bischoff a lot, and they once whoever it was that took over Spike for TNA sent for Dixie or whoever or for Jeff Jarrett sent Eric home. The Spike execs got pissed and they said, "No, you're off TV. We're taking this shit off TV."
No, wait, you're not talking about the Nashville network, are you?
Okay, Spike TV once had not the National Network.
The Spike TV used to be the Nashville network.
Well, okay, Spike TV had this thing called Total Nonstop Action Wrestling. Okay. Which was owned by financed by Dixie Carter, but Jeff Jarrett for a long time made all the decisions. He wouldn't let Dixie in on the booking meetings. He wouldn't let Dixie Carter know what the hell was going on.
He was not a designing women fan.
Well, Dutch Mantel and Vince Russo, who were there, they used to tell him, "Why don't you let her in here and let her see what's going on so she quits?" Because Vince Russo told him, he goes, "You realize she's wising up. She's getting information from somewhere, and where she was getting her information from on wrestling was a dirt sheet writer." Russo figured out. a dirt sheet writer, somebody who
What
writes.
is a dirt sheet writer?
A dirt sheet writer is somebody who writes about wrestling.
Okay.
Who writes, and they don't always print fact.
Wrestling is very successful. They should be able to afford better paper by now.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you call your writers dirt cheap, like that's very disrespectful. You know what I mean?
No, this guy wasn't. He wasn't for the company. He was somebody outside of it. And Vince Russo and
his employer, the company that hired him, maybe shouldn't be calling him dirt cheap and should stop. Would you like it if I started talking about you as dirt cheap? That's nasty.
Not dirt cheap. They called them dirt sheet writers because they were dirt. What they were writing was dirt sheet writers. It was dirt. It was dirt information.
Then if you've got a dirt sheet, what you do is you throw it in the laundry to get a clean sheet.
You have to use some shout. Now, Jewel, you have some right-wing friends, so you should know about this whole sheet issue.
Right?
And how to keep them. I mean, things go on in the rural areas. We understand that. Yeah. We're not judging.
Yeah, ain't no shame. Ain't no shame.
This is a judgment-free zone, Jewel. I mean, you've never said anything good about Nathan Bedford Forrest in my company.
Who?
So I assume that you are not,
And Patrick, before you came on, he was talking trash.
What was he saying?
I can't repeat it here. It's vile.
It's one of those again.
Oh my God.
Joel, how do you, when you were discovered at this kind of ne'er-do-wellism, how do you feel about being revealed this way? About the truth finally coming out?
Does it feel purging? Does it feel like you've come clean? That you can now that everything's out in the open?
I don't know what's out in the open. The fuck are we doing?
That's a scary thought. You know what? Emotionally, I don't know what's out in the open either. But together, we have the strength to find it, I think.
Do you feel a sense of cleansing the way that Gotham experienced that sense of cleansing at the end of the Batman?
Do you like a cleanse after a BM? Because that's what Batman is.
Who doesn't?
I mean, I'm just saying.
What did you guys think of the Riddler setting up a bunch of bombs in the movie?
Puckish, naughty. I mean, it was scary. This was a movie that was clearly aware of crime since, like 1978. Anthrax bombings and so on. I mean, there was a lot of really resonant stuff in this movie.
Mm-hmm. And you have to keep in mind this movie was production started in 2020. It ended just as COVID was starting to pick up. And then it resumed shooting in April of 2021. So this is a movie that has a real sense of, this is probably this is the one Batman movie where you could feel like you've got it has its finger on the pulse of the moment. No. Whereas The Dark Knight Rises, Christopher Nolan had said that was inspired by reading A Tale of Two Cities, which I'm not sure you should ever do A Tale of Two Cities in Batman. I mean, it could work, but I'm not sure Christopher Nolan's the guy to do it. But I think like this is the first time a Batman plot the big crime hasn't been around, say, a heist or stealing or murder.
Dancing to Prince music.
Yes, it's been centered around basically tax increment funding and money laundering. And
he knows what kids like.
Yeah, it knows that the kids are into the financial crimes.
Mm-hmm.
It knows the kids are into the motorcycles and the the Robert in the Andy Serkis. The Andy Serkis is, he was just on the cover of Tiger Beat. So there you go.
What
Hey,
did
the
you
skate
think?
punks love him.
Yeah, what did you think of Andy Serkis as Alfred?
Sean Pertwee did it better.
And now, what did Sean Pertwee play it in?
He was in Gotham.
it
He was
Joker?
Alfred in Gotham.
Okay, so now wait, now who was it? Who was Alfred in Joker?
I don't think there was an Alfred in Joker.
Didn't he like come up and harass like the Joker at the gate of Wayne Manor?
I didn't see Joker, so
It's a
I
good
couldn't answer.
movie.
Yeah, I think he's the guy who's at the gate of Wayne Manor. I forget who
Okay.
played him.
Yeah, because that's the lost Alfred. I'm just saying.
Yeah. And then Joker confronts Bruce Wayne, or not Bruce Wayne, but Thomas Wayne at a function. They're in the bathroom together.
Well, there are a lot of functions that happen in the bathroom, and that's what the bathroom was for.
We don't need to go there, Jewel. We don't need to go there.
And now you're talking about body functions. Let's just get it all out in the open, Jewel. Listen, you're safe here.
I normally wouldn't say this out loud, but right now, I really wish I was not sober.
It has very little to recommend it. Now, Joel, what sort of sequel would you make to this movie? And how quickly would you put Toyman in it?
I wouldn't. Toyman would not be my villain for the next movie.
Toyman's the only possible villain to follow up this reign of evil.
Well, think of the ending of this movie, how the bombs go off and you sort of have the city in disarray a bit, where it's flooded and stuff. I could sort of see maybe Poison Ivy being the next villain, because not just her. There would be two. To me, there would be two villains. I would have Poison Ivy and somebody else who was the other guy who was wealthy in the Batman universe. There was another guy, wasn't there?
What was it, Shandell? Was it Shandell is the villain I think you're thinking of. Now, that's the one Liberace played.
Let's see, other rich guy in the DC universe. Well, that
Oliver
covers
Queen,
a lot.
I think. Oliver Queen, maybe. Do you know why they call him Oliver Queen? Let's tell him. That beard, don't let it fool you.
Really? Well, I would have Poison Ivy, where she seduces Bruce Wayne into giving her money to help. Instead, she says it's going to be to rebuild the city, but she's using it to fund her plant experiments, and that's something I would do. But I think what I've read so far, what I've heard is that they're going to go with Hush, which we'll see if they do or don't.
They're going to go with who?
Hush.
Well, all right, I'll be quiet. I'm sorry, Jewel.
Which was one of Bruce Wayne's best friends. But
this is an idea I always had for Joker. Is that, again, I'm talking about the real Joker, the Cesar Romero Joker. Is that he would be one of Bruce Wayne's best friends. And that this was his hobby, and I'm not sure they would even know that the other one was on to him. See, you get it? That's how I do it. So he would keep the mustache.
Yeah, he'd be a picker, a grinner, a lover, and a sinner.
A lot like Aristide.
Yeah, except not as nice hair.
Well, who has nice hair like Aristide?
Who would you guys like to see as the villain in the next movie? Gordon?
Let's see. Well, I'd want to keep it super street level, because I don't know if Poison Ivy would be a good fit, and I think Hush is a little too Hush is a little too A little too soon. I think Toyman I would put it as a third movie because he's a Superman villain,
How
not a
about
Batman.
Bookworm? Or the
What
one
about-
Cliff Robertson
You know what? Let's
played.
go crazy. Let's do King Tut.
See, now I'll tell you, that's you can't do it because Rush Limbaugh is dead.
Is what?
Rush Limbaugh is dead, and
you hired-
he was my King Tut. At least that's what he made me call him.
What about
You-
Clayface?
Well, which one? Because there's 4 of them.
Whichever one.
No, whichever one.
Joe, be specific. Pick a side and defend it. Which one? 1, 2, 3, or 4?
Let's go with the sort of movie star where he gets his face messed up or whatever. Go with that one. Whichever one that was. I don't know. Clayface is just whatever.
Killer Croc.
There you go. Do that.
Yeah. Well, and they would be all crockpot oriented crimes. And that's where the name comes from. There actually would be no crocodile figure. It would be that.
They
See,
could
because
do
his name is Croc
They could do Killer Croc.
for crockpot.
No, Croc's not named for crackpots. He's named for those ugly plastic shoes that he always wears.
Well, he would be turning crockpots into those shoes. That's his crime. And he would at one point steal the ashes of Ray Kroc, the founder of McDonald's. So every croc-oriented thing would, be his oyster.
Oh, I wish I had some edibles right now.
Sure.
It doesn't hurt, I've heard, but I have nothing like that.
What about now I've only heard of this villain, Cataclysm. What about that villain?
Cataclysm? Is he cat-oriented? Is that how he gets the name?
I think he does earthquakes. I think he causes earthquakes.
Okay, I mean that's fine. Yeah, sure. Because doesn't Gotham have to wind up underwater at some point?
Eventually.
Eventually. You're very casual about, the impending destruction of Gotham City. Have we had too much Batman? I don't mean just me, because I have. I don't even know what the character is at this point. But I mean, is there really a big call for culturally, finally a Batman movie, or maybe should we let the Cape Crusader take a rest?
You know who I'd like to see?
This isn't. You're not going to say Regis Philbin again because he's dead.
I would love to see the Phantom again, but
see the character of the Phantom.
Yeah,
like Smash Evil Phantom.
Yeah, I'd like to see
Yeah,
the
well,
Phantom.
Yeah. Who would you get to play him?
Oh shit.
That would be Killer Croc.
I don't know who I'd get to play the Phantom. Probably. I don't want someone like too big, but maybe Tom Hiddleston, but I don't know.
Okay, as the Phantom. I don't know. Well, Gordon, how about you? Who would you cast as the Phantom? You're a pulpologist.
Let's see. Who would I cast as the Phantom? Well, to answer your original question, which Jewel completely sideswiped, I think Batman could use a little bit of a rest. I think we've had enough Batman for a while.
I get no excitement from a Batman movie being announced.
Yeah. I think for the Phantom, and this is going to be a little non-traditional, but they're in a little bit of a deep cut. There is a TV actor named Mark Valley. He was on
I've
Boston
heard that
League.
name.
Boston Legal, he was the human target.
Yeah.
He should be the Phantom.
He would be good. He would be good. Joel, did you see Boston Legal?
Yes.
Well, I'm sorry. I was just asking if you sounded annoyed by the question.
No, Jewel, Boston Legal is a TV show, not a law firm.
Boston Legal with James Spader. Yeah, I saw it.
Okay, because you reacted like you know, maybe you were caught in
no.
Boston doing something you shouldn't. And
No.
I don't want to say it out loud because it you know.
I'll give you a better one from another legal show.
Okay.
The actor's name is Gabriel Macht from Suits.
Oh, there is a very interesting factoid about that actor.
He's the son of Stephen Macht.
Yes, and Stephen Macht, who is his dad, was one of the 4 final contestants up for the part of Jean-Luc Picard, along with the lovely and talented Mitch Ryan. So Stephen Macht was actually was a much bigger threat to Mitch getting the part than Patrick Stewart, because at the time no one was really taking Patrick Stewart that seriously. And yeah, so you had Stephen Macht, you had Yaphet Kotto, and then you had Patrick Stewart. So Gabriel Macht. Now, wasn't Gabriel Macht also on The Walking Dead?
I don't know. I know he did a movie called I think it's called The Spirit. I think it was a
Yes.
superhero movie.
Okay.
Yes, he did. It is a very bad movie.
Yeah.
It's one that, and it's not so bad it's good. It's basically, have you ever seen Sin City?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, imagine the fan fiction version of that written on loose leaf paper in crayon.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, not good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's not. I don't want any
Yeah, you
part of
can
that.
see Frankie is not happy. He's seen the spirit.
What was now? The spirit wasn't the Will Eisner character, was it?
Yes, it was.
Oh. And wasn't Sam J. Jones in that?
He was in the 1980 pilot, which is the Good
Okay.
Spirit movie.
So this is the good one, or the Sam J.
No.
Jones one?
Okay. Let's make it very simple. If it
Okay.
has Sam J. Jones, it's good.
Well,
If it has
that's
Gabriel
just
Macht,
science.
it's bad.
Oh, all right.
And if Jewel likes it, be very, very suspicious.
Jewel has good taste. I was already on you for that. I was ready.
I said I liked Suits. I didn't say I liked The Spirit.
I thought you said you liked soups.
No, Suits, the show, television show.
So now you hate Suits.
We don't care what you wear, Jewel. Okay, if you like suits, you can wear suits. I mean,
If you want to keep your
Patrick has
doctor,
worn
you can
suits
keep
to
your
the
doctor.
podcast. You don't see him bragging about it.
I don't really wear suits. I wear shorts, t-shirt, sock, shoes.
Well, now I've never seen you dance. Now wait, you're going to do the soft shoe. But you said you wear shorts?
Yeah, shorts.
We wear shorts.
Oh my god.
Joel, this has been the most substantive discussion of the Batman movies the world has ever seen.
I tell you, I've learned so much.
Yeah, I think I've learned a little too much.
What lesson are you going to take with you?
I'm gonna take with me that I have still have no control over my podcast. That's what I'm gonna learn.
Okay.
That's what I'm learning.
No, Joel, that's crazy. That's crazy talk.
I have a question for we get on out of here. What do you guys want to discuss next? Do you guys want to discuss an episode of Dark Shadows? What do you guys want to do?
That's a good question. Uh, I there is a movie that I would love to see your thoughts on, Jewel, and it's a movie called Life Force.
Hmm.
And I think as a follow up to the what we just experienced, it would be the Doctor, or not Doctor Fives, uh,
Quatermass from the
Quatermass,
Pit.
Quatermass. Yeah, the follow up to Quatermass, I think would be really interesting
Yeah,
to see.
yeah. It's on Tubi, so it's available for free.
Okay.
It has Patrick Stewart in it, and it's directed by Toby Hooper.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
talking about Life Force, right?
We're talking about
Life Force,
Okay.
not Dirt Cheap.
that's how dirty deeds are done.
Concrete Shoes,
Have you guys seen the
Cyanide.
movie? Have you guys seen the movie Thanksgiving?
No,
Not yet. I
Okay.
did see the movie Dirty Work
Yeah, that movie's good.
with Norm Macdonald.
That movie's good.
It was directed by Dennis Dugan.
Yeah, that movie's good. Um,
Which one?
Dirty,
Thanksgiving?
no, Dirty. Well, Dirty Work. Thanksgiving's pretty good. Thanksgiving's pretty.
It's
It's a
okay. I think it's kind of an overrated holiday myself.
yeah. It is. It is. Uh, Knock at the Cabin was better. So
It was an interesting movie. What
yeah,
did you make of that?
that anybody that what you're taught in what anybody could be. You're taught in like Bible school and Catholic school that anybody can be the Antichrist and any four people can represent the four horsemen.
That's a
And I
very
was
American kind of point of view. I mean, that's
yeah,
really pull yours. Anybody can be the devil, guys. You
yeah,
can too. Believe in yourself.
and four people who represented life were the four horsemen. They're the four horsemen of the apocalypse. And the guy who had the concussion, he said, "I thought I saw a man in the mirror. In the mirror, he probably saw death riding the pale horse." Or
Did
whatever.
he do primitive morphing when he looked in the mirror, like
Uh,
Michael Jackson in that video? He was looking at the man in the mirror.
I
was he in
don't
a
know.
desert with a horse with no name, but it felt
No.
good to be out of the rain?
Oh my god.
He
No,
was looking at the man in the mirror.
no. But I really found the movie interesting. M. Night Shyamalan is a very smart storyteller. Uh,
True, but just remember, Jewel, one heat-seeking missile and he's history. Just saying.
uh, so when do you guys want to do this Life Force movie?
Uh, Whenever it's good for you, sir. You have put up with our buffoonery and antics tonight.
Okay, I'll pick. How's tomorrow? I'll let you guys pick the time.
No, the project I'm working on should be done by then.
Well, let's see. Why don't we aim for Saturday? It'll give Patrick time to finish his project,
That would be nice. This
and
is a
also
big
give him time
project.
to And Jewel, this is very important. Actually, watch the movie.
I watched this Batman movie, and you can quiz me about it if you want.
No, Patrick. I wasn't talking about you not watching the movie, because I think Jewel will. Because you notice, Jewel, he always starts with asking us how we feel about the movie, and then weaves it in. It's never like if you and I didn't see the movie and Jewel didn't see the movie, it would be like a 5-minute podcast.
Well, it depends on whether or not someone mentions a killer croc.
or even a Cold
Listen,
War Cthulhu.
you want to know what I thought about the Batman movie? I thought the Batman movie was really good. It was a really good detective story. I think it's one of the best live action detective Batman movies we have. I also think it's far different to what Nolan has done and what Burton has done and what others have done. I also think that is the movie dark? Yes, it's not just darkly lit; it is dark in nature. That
Yeah.
the way the Riddler here is more to me like Zodiac than the friendly question mark guy or the crazy question mark guy that we got before. We get a much more violent Riddler in this, which again I don't know who the killer or who the next villain is going to be. Again, I've heard the rumors that it's going to be Hush, but I don't know if it will or won't. Am I excited? Sure, but again, do I need to see another Batman movie? No, I'd much rather have the Phantom or another Shadow movie that we've never fucking got. Outside of 1994 and the 1940 serial, which I love Victor Jory's performance of the Shadow. But hey, if we get those, that would be nice.
I went to school with Victor Jory's granddaughter.
Cool.
That's all I have to contribute there. Her name
Awesome.
was Jessica,
Awesome.
and she was a lovely young woman.
Awesome. Is there anything you guys want to add about the Batman?
No, but Jessica Jory was okay. She would have made a fine Batman if she put her mind to it. No, there were a lot of people waiting for this movie to not work because of
Yeah.
Robert Pattinson, and I guess they just assumed that, I don't know, whatever, they had some sort of attitude about his prior work, and I thought he was very good in the film. Uh, I think there's a detail I really like, which is how the bat emblem is made.
Yeah.
Have you noticed the intricate metalwork?
Yeah.
You know what it is, right?
No.
It's the guns that killed his parents.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the Batmobile makes sense. I really like that. So, yeah, there are a lot of things that I think work in this movie. Do I think it's ultimately kind of dreary? Yeah. But, it's at least taking a chance and doing something I think very interesting. So,
Mhm.
yeah, those are my 2 cents.
Yeah, I liked it a lot too.
Yes.
And I think, Jules, since you like the Batman, you will like Life Force.
Oh, very much so.
Um. let's see.
Jewel, are you
So
okay?
yeah,
Have we
I'm trying to think. Okay, so Saturday. What time do you guys want for Saturday?
How about 10?
Okay, 10's good. 10
Is
o'clock.
that Does that work for you?
Yes,
Yes.
it
We
works
can
for
do it
me.
later if it's convenient.
10 p.m.'s fine on a Saturday night. Um, link to Gordon Dymowski's Amazon page is going to be in the description box. Links to Patrick McCray's Dark Shadows Daybook Unbound is going to be in the description box. Gentlemen, it was a blast. I will see you Saturday night.
As always, we are Steel Town Girls on a Saturday night.
Mhm.
Good night, guys.
Good night.